What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Versus. This is episode 2. And in this episode, we're comparing Jurgen Locadia, the in-form card, this guy here. You can see the in-game stats as I'm showing to you now, to prime icon, 92 rated Alessandro Del Piero. You can see his stats there. Obviously superior to Locadia in nearly every respect, barring physical. Let's look at a quick comparison. I wish you had the in-depth compare feature. Same pace. Locadia's physical is better, but Del Piero does blow him out of the water in just about every other category. Now, the reason I'm using these two is because this was the best striker I had access to, and this was the best striker I've used this year. I used him in this kind of Dutch League front three with this interesting midfield here, and then this defense. Joe Hart, I've actually played a lot of games with him. This untradeable Nathaniel Klein. Michael Keane, I've played a lot with as well. Bender. I actually have a ton of games on pretty much everybody in this team. Rui Costa, you saw him in the last episode. Love him. Goretzka, I really like as well. And then we have this untradeable Irving Lozano and untradeable Eunice I did the SBC for. And then, of course, Locadia up there. So I used this formation because I felt like it gave a lot of attacking opportunities, really gave gave the strikers a chance to shine so we could see what they could do. And now we're going to jump into a little bit of gameplay, and I will talk about the team. Guys, so here we have the gameplay. First, we have the games with Del Piero. This time, instead of 2 offline games, 1 online game with each player, we actually have 2 offline games and 3 online games with each player. I do just show the goals that I scored. Del Piero starting us off with a really nice goal here, and Del Piero actually had a great game this game, coming in with his second goal here, sliding it nicely past the keeper. Now, overall, I wasn't super impressed. I thought he was good, not great, and for a player that on the SBC version, the untradeable version, is about 1.1 million coins, and on the marquee is about 1.3 million coins, I expect somebody phenomenal. I want to be banging in a hat trick every single game with a player that costs that many coins. And unfortunately, I wasn't, and I say that, and he did have a hat trick in this game. But generally speaking, this is the only game he scored 3 goals in, and a lot of the games he was held to a shutout, and unfortunately, that shouldn't be happening with a player that's that expensive. I expect results from somebody like that. And, I'm a decent player. I actually had a really bad run with both of these teams, which is weird because I've used this exact team before, and I've actually had a lot of success with it. But I had a pretty bad run. You'll see at the end I show the stats and the results from each game like I did earlier. So please stick around for the end of the video. I actually have some really interesting stats and comparisons to make at the end. Feel free to skip towards the end if you're not interested in the gameplay and my thoughts on the team and how they actually felt. Just a mistake here from this guy. We ended up actually scoring a bunch of goals in this game because we went down 5-1, and in the last 10 minutes I think we scored 3 goals, that being the first of them. Then we get the penalty there that we dispatch. And I probably should have given Del Piero the penalty. I did give Locadia 1 penalty, I think. But yeah, overall not impressed with Del Piero. And I've also, to be fair, I've only used him for about 7 games now, 5 now, and I think, or 3 before this, and then 5 now. He does get a goal there, but I just, again, I'm saying it again, I feel like he should have been better. That was our first online game. Our second online game we actually don't end up scoring in. And we actually didn't win a single game with Del Piero in regular time. We won that first game on penalties, and other than that, we didn't win a game with him. And that's what it's all about, right? You're paying 1 million coins for a player because you want him to win you games. And I didn't feel like Del Piero was doing that. And for somebody who was so expensive, my impression wasn't good. And we'll get down to statistics again, as I said, just towards the end. But now we're actually jumping into Locadia's games. And I've used him for a lot of games. I was making that comparison. Del Piero I haven't touched as much, but I mean, right at the beginning of his very first game, he gets pushed through by Rui Costa and scores a really, really nice goal just past the keeper there. No problem at all. And then, again, we're coming down the wing. Locadia, again, central to the play. Holds the ball up nicely, which is something that I didn't feel like Del Piero could do. and then plays the ball in behind. Wendell crosses the ball in, and we're able to score at the back post. Now, that all came about because Locadia was able to hold the ball up. Again, he's doing it, making passes to our forward men. I mean, he does lose the ball there, unfortunately, but we are able to win it back there with Jonas, and into Goretzka, into Henderson, Henderson into Lozano to Locadia. And because he's able to hold the ball up, chances come about. And then he's got the pace to get away as well, and then find the teammate for the assist there. We do end up losing this game as well. Again, very disappointing showing as far as results, but we did score a lot of goals there, and I felt like Locadia was, a big part of that effort. He was doing really well. So, excuse me, I just need a quick drink of water. I've been talking too much. So, into the second offline game, we weren't able to score until Yunus does there. Locadia didn't have too much of an impact in this game. Actually, Lozano has a really nice goal here with that Cruyff turn and then hammers it into the top corner. I love the team. I think the team is actually really good. And again, just didn't get on with Del Piero, and Locadia actually did much, much better for me. So I think you guys can tell which way I'm leaning already before we look at the stats, but we will look at the stats in a second, and I think they back up my first impressions. We take an early lead in this game here, our first online game, playing that Mexican-based team in the 3-4-3. That was our only goal of that game, and we were able to get the 1-1 draw. This guy had the exact same attack as me, which was really interesting. And I feel like it's a phenomenal attack, especially for the kind of minimal coins you can get those special cards for. That Eredivisie squad, or Eredivisie SBC, like every squad was costing me like 5K. It was crazy. I think I did the entire Eunice SBC for like maybe 80K. It was nuts. Anyway, but so I recommend doing it. I did have a lot of players in advance, so I will mention that, but definitely recommend doing it. Rui Costa working some magic there. He's able to score a nice goal there, making it 3-3. But then we do go down 5-3, unfortunately. And we do get a goal back here at the end of the game, playing in Lozano there, who slots it past the goalkeeper nicely. So, again, another game we didn't win using this team. But it is what it is. Actually finished the division there. Got a whole bunch of coins. And then this is our final online game, playing a really great team there with Fekir, Bakayoko, and Matic in the midfield. That's a super strong midfield. But we do get the early penalty call. Locadia does put it away. And in just a second, I'm going to be jumping into looking at the statistics and giving you my final thoughts on this versus episode. So I'll talk to you guys in just a second. Alright guys, so we've made it to the statistics portion of the episode. I hope you guys have stuck around and you're checking out this portion. We do have a lot more data than we had previously in the first episode. We have the offline games in blue, the online games in green, and the average in red, as well as the approximate price when I was looking at these about a week before this video actually goes live. It's currently while I'm working on the video. The lighter color on the bottom is Del Piero. The darker is Locadia. So let's take a look at Del Piero first. Had a great first game. 10.0 rating, 3 goals. Fantastic pass completion percentage, and actually had a fantastic pass completion percentage in every game, finishing up with just 3 missed passes out of 88, which is really phenomenal. So credit to him there. A pretty decent average rating. For the most part, with an 8.46, but 2 ratings in the 7s. And I don't want my $1.5 million coin player having ratings in the 7s. Pretty poor dribbling generally, but that is comparable to Locadia. Pretty poor dribbling generally as well, particularly in the online section. Both of them not doing very well dribbling-wise. But Locadia did do well with his passes as well, 86 out of 95. Did well there. And scored a lot more goals. Actually, excuse me, scored the same amount of goals, and I actually made a slight mistake in that in the average. He didn't average 5 goals. He scored 5 goals total. I apologize for that. Same thing with the assist. I totaled it and didn't average it. So he did have 1 more assist than Del Piero, and he did have the exact same amount of goals. So that is similar goal contribution production, and that, for me, for a guy who cost 18k coins that I actually got for discard under 10k, he's comparing to a guy who's 1,000,000 coins. Now, if they're giving me same production in terms of goals and actually a better match rating with Locadia and better results, 1 win, 2 losses, 2 draws versus 1 win and 3 losses, 1 draw, admittedly, not great results on either side, I have to say my verdict is Del Piero is not worth it, and I think almost any other striker in the game will give you, well, I take that back, not every other striker in the game. Every striker above a certain caliber, Locadia being at that caliber, this like 20k range, I think any striker you're paying 20k for on the market is going to do a very similar job to Del Piero. So I really wouldn't recommend putting your coins into him. Your coins are better used elsewhere. If you've got 1,000,000 coins, strengthen other areas of your team. Go get that Rui Costa for Cam. Go make a move on maybe that left wing over Mars. He might be a good investment if you're looking for that position. But don't spend the 1,000,000 coins on Del Piero. I really don't think it's worth it. And I recommend you guys try out Locadia. I know my statistics aren't incredible here, but overall on his card, he's got almost a goal to game ratio. He has like a 1.5 goal to game goal contribution to game ratio, and I think he's a fantastic striker. So I really recommend you guys check him out. And for this episode of Versus, Jurgen Locadia beats out Prime Del Piero icon. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Please check out other stuff on the channel. Check out last week's episode. This is in a playlist. So I appreciate you guys watching, and I will talk to you guys in the next one.